afternoon, folks. Well, just you thought it couldn't get any weirder? It has, for the Jussie Smollett case. I mean, I don't know where to even start, other than Jussie Smollett is another one of those hypocritical liberal elites. Yet being charged with faking a hate crime is what he's found mostly guilty on. Most likely he'll get 3 years, even though he's appealing the charge, still saying it was, even though the evidence says otherwise. Saying 2 white guys assaulted him. Credit this to Liz Wheeler. It's just you hit the like button, subscribe, and follow her channel. She sure knows how to sum it up just as much as well as I do. I learned from her. She teaches very well how to do that. So, hit the like button, subscribe. So before we even get started on my channel, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you can get information from me as well. But do it for both of us. I want you to give her as many followers as much as possible as me as well. So, with that, let's get into this. Alright. From what I gathered from her, this is what is going on. Liz Wheeler, that is. Jussie Smollett said in there pretty much anything that a typical liberal would do. Shift the blame. And continue to claim innocence even though the guilty is there. Even though the hard evidence is right there in front of them, and continue to claim their innocence. Typical liberal. Instead of saying, yeah, I'm innocent, I'm guilty, and yeah, I should apologize, and yeah, I made all this. Well, he's doubling down. He is not doing what he would do. He's still saying, yeah, I never should have done any of that. And what does he say? He does the full opposite from that. He says this. Then when the prosecutor reads into evidence the N-word through a text, he interrupts and says, you should not read that. I don't want you reading that. You're going to offend a lot of blacks. Then the prosecutor says, then you read it. And sure enough, he does. I mean, what's this telling you? Guilty. Guilty as charged. Yeah. The problem is, he wrote this stuff himself. It's not like somebody put it on there for him. He wrote this stuff through his own text messages. It's okay if a black person says it, but not a white person. A black can call a black person the N-word, but not a white person. In a flagrant way. That's literally what happened here. When in reality, these 2 white guys put a noose around the supposedly fake crime was 2 white guys wearing mega hats put a noose around his neck, beat him up, and made it seem like a hate crime. When in reality, black people did it. And he paid them for it. Handed them money in advance. And sure enough, it happened. And the video evidence says otherwise. And it wasn't black people after all. It wasn't white people after all. So, and now that this is happening, now he's filing an appeal. I don't know how he's going to win when you file an appeal. His sentencing is supposed to be like January 5th or 27th. I don't recall. But it's going to be in January, and he's out on bond right now. So, he's going to roam around the streets freely. But until then, we'll see how that happens. He might get probation. He may not get any jail time, which is wrong. They never served any jail time. And the original prosecutor dropped the charges. But they hired a special prosecutor and actually charged him, which is the right thing to do. So, how do you normally charge someone and make sure the charges stick? You hire someone that knows what they're doing and is not a liberal. That is against a liberal. Liberals always stand by liberals. They don't hold liberals accountable. While conservatives, on the other hand, we hold ourselves accountable. We've seen that in almost every state that's happened. Conservatives are holding conservatives accountable. Republicans are holding Republicans accountable. While on the other hand, Democrats are not holding Democrats accountable. The only way Democrats get held accountable is if it's happening in a Democratic state. If it's happening in a Republican state and a Democrat is in charge. Other than Chris Cuomo, actually Andrew Cuomo, excuse me, I can't even keep those brothers straight. The Cuomo brothers. Other than the Cuomo brothers, that's about the only thing that's ever gotten straight between the two. The corruption was so deep between those two, that's the only reason why it happened. And the only reason why he managed to fall into jail, why he managed to got forced out, was because the corruption ran so deep. I mean, I can go on and on about what states are ran so deep through Democrats and which states are run deep through Republicans. I mean, there's some Democrats in some states. But the ones who are run deeply by Republicans, most likely Democrats would be held strongly accountable. That's the only way you can hold a Democrat accountable in those states, are ones who are run by Republicans. But the ones who are run by Democrats, and Democrats get in trouble, they will get away with it. But if a Republican gets in trouble in that state, they will not get away. Which is normally how it should be. It should be held in a same standard. Democrats and Republicans should be held to the same standard. Same with liberals and conservatives. Everyone should be held to the same standard, which is how civilians are charged. That's normally how it should be. And it should have been held to the same standard. Same with celebrities. Just because you have the word celebrity in front of yourself or actor doesn't give you the right to be held to a higher standard than everybody else. Or lower standard, for that matter. Meaning you can do whatever the heck you want to do, while everyone else they do what you're doing, whatever the heck they do, they go to jail. You should be held to the same standard. Not the more. Because if we'd be doing what everyone else is doing in Washington right now, all the Republicans and Democrats, we'd be in jail right now. And I mean that for a fact. And with that being said, I'm out of here. Peace.